before we continue with our meeting. Council to note that the meeting is convened in line with provision 6 subsection 3 of the Rules of Order bylaws of 2014 as an urgent meeting to consider the 2024-2025 draft budgets. Councillors to further note that the ordinary meeting will be convened on Tuesday, the 26th of March 2024, and not on the 27th of March 2024, as previously announced in our last council. The city appreciates all the efforts being made by the political leadership and the administration leadership led by the Office of the City Manager, Mr. Musambele, and all our officials in restoring services and normality to residents as they were impacted by the municipal workers' strike. Again, Council apologize to all our residents and to all communities for the inconvenience suffered through this period. Councillors to note that on the 12th of March 2024, an email was circulated from the Office of the Speaker to all councillors, reminding them about updating SATRA insurance form that is provided to cover councillors' assets, that is the house, your vehicle, and other assets. Councillors are reminded that this form must be annually updated, since the value of assets also appreciates and or depreciates with time. To those members that have not updated, they are reminded to do so and submit back the form to the Office of the Speaker. We have made arrangement with my office to bring some of those forms in this meeting so that they are accessible easily or distributed to those councillors who might be able to fill those forms today. They are very much important, councillors, that is your insurance. Council to note that the Economic Freedom Fighters, the EFF, had a vacancy that arose from the removal of Councillor Gondwana, and that a vacancy has been filled by Councillor Mazugayise Brian Blose. Siyacela ukuthi ke simemukele ngenkulu inhlokomo uCouncillor Blose. Sibonge. Stand up. You have joined this family. Welcome. Thank you very much, Councillors. Welcome. Councillors, you are also encouraged to conduct yourself with dignity and decency during the council proceedings and in compliance with the expectations in terms of our code of conduct. Whips of committees and whip of parties are here reminded that it's also your responsibility to manage the behavior of your councillors. The emphasis is hereby made that when a matter is being put to the vote, there should be no movement, as this has a negative impact on the numbers. We are appealing, councillors, that during the voting process, no movement. All doors shall be closed till the voting process is completed. Is a reminder and an emphasis directed to all of you. Thank you very much. Those are the announcements. City Manager, do we have leave applications of leave of absence?
Good afternoon, Honorable Speaker. Greetings to His Worship the Mayor, Deputy Mayor, Whip of Council, collective leadership of this council, Ikhuleke kumakhosi aseDlunkulu, members of the public who are joining us through live streaming, members of the media, I greet you all in the mighty name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth. I hereby wish to read applications for leave of absence. Councillor V. Reddy, not available today due to personal commitments. Councillor G.N. Zondi, not available to indisposed. Councillor P.B. Nduli, not available due to personal commitments. Councillor S.R. Moodley, not available due to personal commitments. Councillor M.F. Ismail, to leave at 4. Councillor I. Said, to leave at 4. Councillor Kupega, not available today due to personal commitments. Councillor Z. Mnomia, indisposed today. Councillor V. Ugana, not available today due to personal commitments. Councillor A. Paruk, to leave at 4. Councillor B. Tusi, not available due to personal commitments. Councillor A.Z. Mkize, not available due to personal commitments. Councillor J. Naidu, not available due to personal commitments. Councillor A. Kison, to leave at 3. Councillor J. Bullman, to leave at 3. Councillor K. Mkize, to leave at 3. Councillor G. Shusanka, to leave or indisposed for today. Councillor S. Chibure. Okay. Councillor S. Chibure, not available or to leave at 3. Councillor T. Ndlovu, not available today due to personal commitments. Councillor R. Raj, not available today due to personal commitments. Councillor M. Billy, to leave at 3. Councillor O. B. Mvubu, to leave at 4. Councillor M. Madlala, to leave at 4. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much, City Manager. Councillors, all leave of absence approved.
Speaker.
Mr. Speaker.
Okay. Let me start with the hand there, then will be number 2, part of number 3 covered.
Councillor Moody is present, leaving at 4 o'clock.
Okay, he's present. Mood is present. Thank you for the correction. Councillor Paruk.
Alan Baisley will be leaving at 4, Mr. Kwale leaving at 2:30.
Thank you for that correction. Councillor Kawena.
Thank you. Apologies. Councillor Maraj as well as present, but will be leaving at 3. Thank you.
Okay. Chief Whip.
Ngiyabonga Somlomo, ngibingelele amakhansela onke phakathi. Ngicela ukudlulisa i-apology kaKhansela uLindiwe Mthembu.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I think you haven't received the other apologies on the IFP caucus, but just for record-keeping purposes. Councillor Biela, T. Biela, Councillor N.C. Gumede, and Councillor Mgadi are also unavailable today due to personal commitments.
Okay. Thank you very much. Councillors, are the leave of absence agreed? Thank you very much. Any councillor to declare interest? Anyone to declare interest? I will now invite the Mayor, His Worship, Councillor Mkhosi Kaunda, to present the item.
Speaker.
Councillor Mwango.
Name Speaker.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, last council meeting, there was a commitment from the mayor that the strike is over, service have resumed normally. You also reported as such, but what we see outside is not the case. Can you confirm on record that services are now back to normal? Because what we get on the ground is not what we receive as councillors, which makes it difficult for us to respond to the public when the council that we are representing didn't give us correct information. Can you confirm and say all services, as you said in your speech, that they are now have resumed as normal? Because
Thank you.
we don't believe so.
Thank you, Councillor Mthethwa.
Thank you, Speaker. Good morning, colleagues. I just wanted to check as a matter of procedure before the draft budget is tabled. We would like to propose an amendment to the recommendations. Do you allow us to do it now, or you will wait for the mayor to table the report and then we propose the amendment?
I will accommodate all speakers after the budget has been presented. Then the amendment will be presented at the time.
May I then, Speaker, request that before whoever wants to speak is allowed to speak, we are allowed to propose that amendment first, so that whoever speaks will speak after that amendment.
Definitely, we will follow our normal procedures in terms of our rules on how amendments are being managed in council. Your worship. But Mayor, can you please check with the budget?
Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable
Order,
Speaker.
Speaker.
There's a point of order.
Speaker, Councillor Umncwango has raised a question, and I was hoping we'll get an answer from the Speaker before we proceed about the issue of strike.
Okay. Thank you, Councillor Clever, for reminding us for that item. Apologies, Councillor Mncwango, for not responding to that. I was planning to respond after I've taken the hand of Councillor Mthethwa. Although Councillor Mncwango, we are raising a very sensitive matter to council, as I've also spoke about in my announcements. It's also a very sensitive matter to our residents. But from where I'm sitting, the mayor and the city manager have done everything to keep our residents updated. But I will request the mayor that after tabling the budget, or before he tabled the budget, I will give him a few minutes to update council on the latest updates, if there are any. Only if the mayor has something to say, I will request or give the mayor an opportunity to respond direct to the question. Your worship.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I'll request that I cover that in my presentation of the draft budget as part of my speech, so that will be covered. Thank you. Therefore, I wish to table the first report of the Executive Committee to the Council. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Worship. We have been assured that the response will be provided councillors in detail when the mayor tables the budget. Thank you very much. City Manager.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, thank you very much. the first report of the Executive Committee from their meeting of the 18th of the 3rd, 2024 is hereby being tabled. Item 1, review of sewage disposal user charge and sundry tariffs for the 2024-2025 financial year. Committee recommends.
Thank you very much, City Manager. Councillors, are the recommendation agreed?
Agreed? No.
Nyambosa? Are you any thought for? Oh, you're saying no? Okay.
Yes.
Fine. Okay. Secretariat, let's have the screen. This is item 1 on page 3. The recommendations are on page 4. Are you ready, Secretariat? Okay, let me start by those who are in support of the recommendations. Please raise your hands.
Speaker, Order, Speaker. How do we vote before we speak on the item?
Order. We are voting now.
But how do we vote?
Like this. By show of hands. No disruption. Thank you. Those who are voting against. Order. Those who are voting against. Why are you voting? Those who abstain.
Amabutho aceza.
Speaker.
Washayo ugeza wathola isikhulu.
Thank you very much, councillors. And those who are in support of the recommendation, 119. Those who are against, 5. Those who abstain, 71. The recommendations will be carried through. Councillor Mwango, we only allow councillor to speak on item if they gave us an indication. When we were tabling the item, there were no hands or indication of anyone who wanted to speak on the item. Councillor Kavenda?
Thank you, Speaker. I just wanted to reaffirm that you will be taking hands from the members. We did not submit a list because the agendas were only received this morning.
Yes, we are taking hands from the floor. When we present an item, if you want to speak, you will raise your hands and you will be recognized. Let's proceed, City Manager.
Item number 2, Honorable Speaker. Review of potable water and sundry water tariffs for 2024-2025 financial year. Committee recommends.
Councillors, are the resolution agreed? They are speakers. There's councillor. For now, there's only councillor. Okay, raise your hands because I can see hands are coming. Councillor Madala, Councillor Mgwengwe, Councillor Pillay. We are far. The councillor there. Then Mwango. This side, Councillor Smith, will be last, yeah. In that order, Councillor Madala.
Yeah, no, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Speaker, we want to first and foremost remind the House that this is a draft budget process, and the funding of the budget, the sources that fund the budget are, amongst other things, the grants that we receive from the national and provincial government, the loans that we usually take. I think the last time we took 1.5 billion rands as a loan, and the third source is monies raised by the municipality through various sources like your rates, your levies, and your tariffs. Now, when these tariffs are being proposed, they are being proposed in a context where we understand the economic hardships that our people are going through. We understand the troubles that we've gone through as a result of the recent strike, but before that, in the context of the recovery from the floods, which affected most of our infrastructure, and the fact that we have a long-standing backlog in terms of the servicing of our infrastructure. Now, what is being proposed here seeks to cover the issues related to that. We buy our bulk water from another entity, which is Umngeni, and we must say that we are amongst those municipalities who do not owe any service provider for bulk services. And in keeping with that good record, we must from time to time, as this municipality, raise these tariffs in order to cover those costs. Now, what is being proposed and what is in front of us is a mere proposal that is still going to go out for communities to then, in terms of the public participation process, be able to speak on. Now, as councillors organized in our different caucuses, we are also part of that process, in that each caucus here can then request the city manager and team to come to their caucus and unpack what is contained here and make proposals, which are then going to be included in the composite proposals that are going to be made by communities and different stakeholders, which are then going to influence whether or not this tariff structure comes back as it is. Now, I'm speaking on the water tariff, but I'm also speaking in general in terms of all the tariffs. Now, you'll be reminded, Honorable Speaker, that last time, in the last budget process, we had envisioned that we were going to have a budget of 66 billion rand. But after the consultation process, the public participation process, we came back and we eased on some of the tariffs that we had proposed. And as a result, it affected the overall budget. Eventually, we passed a budget of 65.5 billion rand instead of 56, because the budget, the principle is that the budget must be funded. And for you to fund fully the budget, all of these components must then be in place, and one of which is the tariffs. So the projection that you will be able to recover and to cover the budget on the basis is on the basis of what is being proposed here. But if after the process it becomes apparent that the community is saying no, it's too much, we'll then make the necessary adjustments, which will then affect the overall budget that we are going to set out. I'm saying this, Honorable Speaker, so that we don't spend much time on debating whether or not the tariffs are necessary. They are necessary. They might be evil to some, but they are necessary evil if we want to take the service delivery forward and have a budget to fund such. We submit, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Kalungwengwe.
Siyabonga somlomo ukuqhubezela sibingelele amakhosi sendlunkulu amakhansela onke ukuqhubezela ukuya phambili wekade kubalulwa ukhansela uMadlala. Sifisa okokuqala ukuthi sibonge leli thuba lokuthi abantu baseThekwini babe kwazi ukuthi bafake imibono yabo ekuthenini ibudget abazoyisebenzisa kule minyaka elandelayo kunyaka olandelayo izohamba ngendlela efanelekile yini nokunge singayenzi favor ngoba kulandela iconstitution ikakhulukazi section 152 usiyalela ukuba siqinisekise ukuthi abantu bakithi baba nomnikelo ekutheni ibudget izohamba kanjani. Futhi sifuna ukubonga ukuthi lo mkhandlu njengoba seshilo ukhansela uMadlala ukuthi ngonyaka odlulile nakuba sasibheke ibudget eyayingaphezudlwana kodwa ngoba uma siya kubantu sisuke singeve ngoba siyodlala nje ingoma ukuthi abantu badanse kodwa siyobalalela ukuthi bathini. Yiko ke namhlanje sithi kule mali esiphakamisayo yokukhuphula izinga lamanzi okudayiswa kwamanzi ukuthi okwamanje kuseyisiphakamiso nanokuthi ke abantu baseThekwini siyofisa ukuthi babambe iqhaza kule mhlangano ezoba khona nezomenyezelwa umeya kanjalo noSomlomo. Kodwa sikubalula ukuthi Somlomo abantu bakithi babhekene nezimo ezimbi lo sithe sisaqeda noma sisayibhizi nokudila nodaba lokuyikhuphula elahlasela izwe lakithi kodwa sibhekene nesimo seyiteleka zabasebenzi esingeke sayigxeka ngoba kangako ngoba amalungelo abantu kodwa zenza abantu bakithi bangawathola amanzi, abantu bakithi bangawuthola ugesi, abantu bakithi bangatholi ithuba lokuqoqelwa udodi kanjalo nokuthi indle echitheka eindaweni zabo ikwazi ukuthi ilungiseke. Kodwa besithi noma kunjalo umkhandlu waseThekwini unikeza abantu baseThekwini ithuba lokuthi babe nombono wabo kodwa okunye okubalulekile ukuthi imali akuyona nje yokuthenga amanzi kuphela kodwa ukuthi sizenze isiqiniseko ukuthi njengoba sihlonzwa njengomunye umasipala ophezulu ngemanzi alahlekayo ukuthi sikwazi ukudila nalolo daba. Okwesibili ukuthi sinamapayipi amaningi eThekwini abe alimele ney'ndawo ngoba kuyacaca ukuthi uhulumeni abaphambilini babe ngabahlinzekile abanye abantu ikakhulukazi abantu bakaXimba abantu basengonweni abantu bakoNgunyameni baseMbumbulu babe ngahlinzekiwe ngokuhambiswa kwamanzi ey'ndaweni. So ezinye zezinto zokukhava lokho sikuphakamisayo ukuba senze isiqiniseko ukuthi zonke iy'ndawo zaseThekwini ziyawathola amanzi ahlanzekile ebeze kubona. Sizosamukela lesiphakamiso bese silindele umphakathi ukuthi uphawula kanjani kuya phambili. Siyabonga.
Mr. Speaker, I also have 1 minute for Mosa. Thank you. Mr. Speaker, it is really sad that, that today we're going to be proposing to pass a draft proposal increase of 14% for water. The DLC finds it unacceptable, it's unrealistic, and it's something that we should have done in the first place, correcting it before taking it out into the public domain. Why must we, as a city, take unrealistic figures, increases to the ratepayers to really amend when we can do it right here, right now? Mr. Speaker, water is a major problem. Currently, many suburbs, Tongaat, Verulam, Phoenix, into Zuma and other areas are going out without water for many days, and nobody cares. The bottom line is that, Mr. Speaker, is that for every year, every budget year, we hear the same tune, but the lyrics changes. And the sad reality is that the ratepayer suffers, and this increase is really going to damage the holes in the pockets of our pensioners and the unemployed and families who are currently struggling to make ends meet. The reality out there, Mr. Speaker, is that people are suffering, and these way above inflation figures are going to be detrimental to our community and the ratepayers. Non-revenue water leaks not being attended to sufficiently or quickly enough. Every year we're hearing Metro Water will be dealing with the leaks, but nothing is happening. Leaks are attended to after 48 or even after 4 days, where thousands of liters are lost. because of unattended water leaks. Infrastructure is not being done or are not being repaired timeously. Mr. Speaker, we need to take a very sober decision when we're going out to the ratepayers. Public participation will happen, but currently out there, the reality out there is that people are suffering without water. They are really crying out. They are saying their human rights are being violated, and they need this council to take...
Time is up. Next speaker. Thank you, Speaker. We as a Freedom Front Plus won't support this. The reason being, you say on your board that Durban wants to be the most livable city, but we've got an influx of migrants at the ratepayers' expense. There's 595 informal settlements. Then we offer free water and electricity at ratepayers' expense. Black economic empowerment, which should actually be called black elite enrichment, where you pay more but get less because of ANC policies and cadre deployment. The Structures Act says we as councillors are employed and put the ratepayers first. They put us here, not Palestine or illegals. We will not support this exorbitant increase, so the city can give away to the space of ratepayers. Thank you. Point of order.
Yeah, thank you, Honourable Speaker. I understand that we all have a right to debate, but also the people he refers to, they also have a right to get free water, as he's mentioning, because we cannot allow him to come here and say they are getting water at the expense of the ratepayers. He's supposed to say something else, but not to attack our people. Thank you.
Point of order sustained. Can you please confine yourself, Councillor?
Speaker.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Councillor Mwango.
Speaker.
Councillor Said, point of order.
No, Speaker, I'd like to also speak on this item, if I may.
No. I've already noted hands. I gave you a chance to raise your hands. You didn't raise your hands.
I didn't hear you then, Speaker.
Mwango.
Speaker, I move amendment.
Mwango.
I've got amendment, Speaker.
Okay. There is an amendment on page 4, right?
Yes.
On item 2. It proposes that 9.5% increase replace 14.9% from Councillor Mwango, supported by Bill. That's how you are proposing, Councillor Mwango?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Councillors, there is a proposal from Councillor Mwango. In terms of our procedure, a proposal is either being accepted by council or not before I allow the mover of the proposal to motivate or to speak to council. Let's follow that procedure. Councillors, are you agreeing? What we are voting for. Those who are in support of the proposal.
Point of order, Speaker.
Point of order.
I am assuming that Councillor Mwango will or will not speak on the substantive item. It would therefore be unprocedural to take a vote before he motivates, because his motivation might change people's minds. So please allow Councillor Mwango to motivate first and then put the matter to vote, because we're voting on the amendment, not on the substantive item. Thank you.
What we are saying, Councillor Nyambo, say it makes sense. But the problem is that it's against the rules. That's the problem. The rule says
if there is a proposal of the amendment, the Speaker must table that proposal to the Council first. It's either being supported or not. Then after that, the Speaker will then invite to allow a person who proposed the amendment to motivate. What you are saying, Yambos, it makes sense. The problem, it is against the rules. Let's not debate the rules, Yambos. We can propose amendment of the rules outside this platform, but while we are here, we have a responsibility to stick on the rules.
Speaker, with respect.
Yeah.
What you needed to do, which you did, was to check if the amendment as read is supported. If there's an indication that there are parties who do not support the amendment, then you allow the proposer to motivate, and then you take the vote afterwards.
Now, Yambazo, I fully agree with you. I fully agree with you, and you are clear. But the problem, read the rules. Rules are not saying what you are saying.
Point of order, Speaker.
Now, let's deal with the rules. Let's vote, councillors or councillor.
Point of order. I think, Speaker, here is the misinterpretation of the rules.
Yeah.
The rule says if it's not accepted, then he will motivate, which is what we have done already. You have checked with us, it was not supported. So he should be motivating so that we can vote now.
Right.
On the amendment.
Councillor Council, the only way to take decisions that are recorded, that are legally binding, is through a vote. Not by saying no or yes. Once we've decided whether the decision is accepted or not, if it's accepted, it will be carried through. If it's rejected, then it means council is saying no. Then Councillor Mwang will then give it a chance to motivate.
Speaker.
Councillor Kaunda, Nkosi, and Ben.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I know I come at the tail end of this process, but I wanted to appeal to all councillors that we normally refer the tariffs or as the issues that are related to budget. So why don't we deal with the budget, then we then debate the budget, then we debate the issues related to budget. Instead of taking one issue per issue, now we'll take 3 hours, 4 hours. Let's just deal with the budget, then we come back, we debate the budget, after that we approve or we disapprove the budget. Thank you, Chair.
Yeah, now, Councillor Kaunda, you are coming with a proposal while on the table there is another proposal. Your proposal can only be considered by council if Councillor Mwango withdraw his proposal now and raise it later after your proposal has been accepted. We can only do that. I cannot decide to take your proposal. I have to deal with the proposal in front of me first before I entertain your proposal. Unless Councillor Mwango withdraw this one, then it will be raised after, if council agree with your proposal.
Yeah, withdraw.
Do you follow, councillors? Yes, sir. Councillor Mwango, what is your feeling?
Honourable Speaker, we already done the first item. The mayor was silent. He didn't say anything. So therefore, can we finish this item? Then we can look at what the mayor is saying.
Okay. Thank you, because it is your proposal. If it's your feeling, let's deal with the item. Let's move, Councillor will speak because we've done this before. Those who are in support of the proposal, raise your hands.
Sorry, Speaker.
A point of order, Ben.
Mr. Speaker, we're going down the same rabbit warren we went down a meeting or two ago
about the procedure followed for an amendment to a motion, which ended up at a debacle last time, and you're going to end up with the same again. Do you have an idea that there's an interpretation which says that you dispense with motivating your amendment, you go straight to the motion? That's not what this council has done for at least the 10 years I've been a councillor. We've always had the opportunity to motivate. So can you give us an explanation of the interpretation which you have of the rule, which says that you go straight to the vote before motivating the amendment? As I read clause 7, sub-rule 7 of Rule 20, procedural motion, it says, whenever an amendment to an original motion has been moved and seconded, no other amendment may be moved until the first amendment has been disposed of, which means motivated for and then voted on. Okay. Not voted on, then motivated. Okay. And the second point, Speaker, is that I think the issue that we're dealing with is in fact covered by Rule 29, 20 sub-point 9, which says, any amendment which would have the effect of increasing expenditure or reducing the income of council must take the form of a reference back to the relevant committee for consideration. It can't be done by way of an amendment, it's got to be done by way of a reference back.
Okay, thank you. I will request legal to assist us so that we have a common understanding. There's nothing wrong, councillors. There's nothing wrong if the speaker misinterprets the rules to be corrected and to be guided. That's why we are all here. I've listened to all your submissions. I'm now inviting legal to assist us on the interpretation so that we all on the same page and the decision is binding. Councillor Kosi, let's allow legal to assist us. Can you please open this microphone?
Am I audible now?
Yeah.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, as we were busy debating, I was listening carefully. In fact, Speaker, as you were repeating what they were saying, you were agreeing with them, but at the end, your conclusion differs. The position as it stands, Speaker, once an amendment is not accepted, the proposer is given an opportunity to motivate. And then only after that will the voting follow.
Thank you. Thank you. It means your interpretation and your understanding is correct. The interpretation and the understanding of the speaker was wrong. It means Councillor Mwang will then be invited to motivate the amendment before we vote. Councillor Mwang.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, inflation rate dropped from 5.5 to 5.1, which then makes sense to say if also Umgeni have proposed an increase of 9.5, as the city, we should also be able to align ourselves with such an increase. Because at the end of the day, if we go as far as 14.9%, we are more like punishing the ratepayers of eThekwini for our loss, because this city have actually lost more than 58% in terms of water loss. So the question we must ask ourselves as councillors here, why do we punish ratepayers when we are not sorting our house into order? So it is that base that we propose that we align ourselves with Umgeni so that we don't punish the very same loyal ratepayers of eThekwini by such a high increase of 14.9%, knowing very well that inflation rate is currently sitting at 5.1%.
Yes, Speaker, time is up. Councillor Mwang has been given an opportunity to convince you and to motivate his proposal. Is the proposed amendment supported, councillors? Yes. Thank you. Those who are in support, please raise your hands. Those who agree with the proposal. Order, no shh, order.
Point of order, Speaker. Order, Speaker.
No point of order, voting now.
Nah, inkinga phezulu lapha besuke i-EFF bayivotela.
Yeah, leave them there. It's fine.
Fanele bavotise i-IFP, not i-locals, i-EFF.
Hayi shiya baba.
There's a secretariat here. Ukhona no Bloss, spokesperson EFF, provincial.
For the residents of the metro.
Thank you. Those who are in support of the proposed amendment, please raise your hands.
Oh, no. There's a bit of MK for the SAPs.
We can see through you.
MK.
Thank you very much. Zanda, those who abstain. Those who abstain. Thank you. Thank you. Those who are in support of the proposed amendment, the number is 83. Those who are against the proposed amendment, the number is 113. Those who abstain is 0. Therefore, the proposed amendment is rejected. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I've got 2 minutes. Hey, I've got 2 minutes.
You've got 2 minutes?
5.
From who?
But abaningi.
Speaker, yes,
there's no 2 minutes here.
I spoke personally to our gentleman.
Can I confirm? Can I confirm? Proceed, Councillor Mwango. Now can you confirm that there's no 2 minutes here in front of me? Proceed. Order.
Speaker, Speaker, the issue here is this. How we are voting here is an indication of an arrogance from the ANC.
Point of order.
Point of order.
I'm calling point of order, Speaker, ngoba njengoba kade kuvotwa akuhlangene ne-ANC ukuvota, akuhlangene nomkhandlu.
Yeah, your point of order, Councillor Ntuli, is sustained. The vote here, Councillor Mwangu, must remember that is not against political parties. It's a vote of council members. Proceed, Councillor Mwangu.
I withdraw, Honourable Speaker. Maybe let me say stroke MK. The issue, Speaker, is that the arrogance we see here shows that even if we table such a budget as a draft, we claim that we are waiting for the public to have input. But clearly, we'll never listen to the public because this arrogance by the stroke MK that will continue to say...
Point of order, Speaker.
Point of order.
Speaker, in a problem in the Speaker on the floor, so let's mention MK and Konan. And then so Speaker started pointing. Why are you going to upset?
Yeah, thank you. Councillor Mkize, your point of order is sustained. Councillor Mwangu, you know very well that in our council, we don't have a representative of a party called MK. Yeah, stop, order. No, order. Randy is not part of this meeting and does not represent MK in council. He represents ADEC. Proceed, Councillor Mnqabo. Let's not waste time. There are other speakers.
Now, ngiyabonga Somlomo, ayibazi bayiphendule. Somlomo iqiniso ukuthi vele kuyacaca ukuthi noma sinaye emphakathini will come back here and still vote with the same arrogance of saying we don't care what we is saying. As councillors here, we motivate why we believe it should be 9.5.
Point of order,
Your time is up.
Yes, I'm rising on a point of order there, on a rule that says it is wrong to mislead council. There's proof here that last time we were debating this matter of the tariffs that were proposed in the draft budget were changed after the communities have spoken on them. So there's proof. Now I don't know what Councillor Mnqabo is talking about. He's misleading this council.
Point of order, Speaker.
Your point of order, Councillor Mandlala, is sustained. Councillor Smith, you are the last.
Point of order,
Order, order. Councillor Order, councillors. Councillor Smith. Councillor Smith, order.
Yes, I can't carry on if people are making noise.
No, your opportunity is Smith.
Hello everyone, good morning, good afternoon colleagues. First and foremost, we need to address the item in front of us. All right, and it's unfortunate that it seemed the majority of this council took the route that it went. Because if you look at the item in front of us, it says Mgeni Water has proposed a 9.5% increase in bulk water supply. Drawing from both this increment, the municipality is proposing for 14.9% tariff increase for both domestic and non-domestic consumers to be implemented with effect on the 1st of July 2024. At the top of the page, it says Mgeni Water, the municipality is then building up from the Mgeni Terrace to ensure that there is no loss incurred by the municipality in the provision of water supply to the residential and business areas. Now, Speaker, we've been long raising this item that this municipality is failing to do that by itself. We are sitting at a 58% water loss. That's more than half of every rand that what we are throwing down the drain. And that's not some fallacy that's coming out of nowhere. That was raised by the Auditor General as a problem. Now, just for some information, if we look at our burst pipes and stats thereof, we're only getting to 78.1%. That means 21.8% of our burst pipes we're not getting to. We're throwing that water down the drain, right? Let's go to the next one, if I'm not believed. Operations leaks, 63.66% is what this municipality, i.e. the water department, is getting to, right? That means we're sitting with a 36.4 deficit. That means we're not getting to that. We're throwing that down the drain as well. Now the best part, customer service leaks, 54.25%. We're sitting just over half out of all the leaks that we're getting to. And we are trying to put the burden onto the people when we in-house cannot fix or even maintain the water that we have. But we are saying, hey, let's just up the price, no problem. Well, do we think that the residents are going to be happy with that? Do we think the ratepayers are going to be happy to pay more when this municipality was tasked with the responsibilities to service and replace aged infrastructure across the metro? Do you think the residents and ratepayers of this municipality are willing to accept that, knowing full well what's happened over the last 2 weeks, when services across the board were disrupted? And it's across electricity, water, DSW. Do you think our residents are happy with that? And the answer is a resounding no. So we need to understand that yes, while we can increase the tariffs, The tariffs need to work in conjunction with the efforts of this municipality and the efforts of the departments on the work that they do in the ground. We need to ensure that they fix the pipes where they need to be fixed, replace them where they need to be replaced, because this is impacting every sphere of our society. There is no judgment when outages happen, and unfortunately our people are saying enough is enough. The last thing I want to say is we're talking about increasing it. Fine. We're talking about the money raised, the levies, the rates and the tariffs that my colleagues on the other side raised. But if the money is going to be used responsibly and not wasted like we see it going down the drain, then maybe we can start making some progress. Maybe then this municipality will start turning itself around. But at the current, with this current proposal, I'm sorry, the residents are saying no. And we will not be supporting, we'll be abstaining on this item. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillors, we are going to deal with item 2, page 4, by voting on the item. The proposal made by the worship, the mayor, we are going to entertain the proposal after we have concluded this item. Are the resolution agreed, councillors?
Agreed. Not agreed. No.
Thank you. There are those who are saying no. They make the screen so that we are procedural. Are you ready, Secretary? We are now voting on page 4, item 2. Let me start with those who are in support of the recommendation. Please raise your hands. Thank you. Thank you, Rashid Zada. Those who are voting against,
Athula Mabutho.
thank you. Ngingahlisa izandla. Those who abstain. Thank you. Ngingahlisa izandla siyabonga.
No shot.
Those who are in support, 113. Those who are against, 14. Those who abstain, 68. Thank you. Councillors, this now.
Can you please get the clarification on ABC votes pattern? Because this was very confusing. If you can just...
Councillor Mbubu, no.
Thank you.
We have now voted.
No, Speaker.
We have now voted. Councillor Kosi.
Thank you.
But the other one, Speaker, was against. From where I was sitting. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. May I beg your indulgence? You know, Speaker and colleagues, we are leaders here. Whoever that played that clip, and we all have, some of us, I think it is uncalled for. Because people were injured today, and we are being dragged in as IFP, yet it was Amabutho. And as we speak, Izinduna in a meeting, and there will be a meeting of all Amakhosi of KwaZulu-Natal trying to address that issue. So let us not play with that incident. That was not an incident that we're supposed to join or to behave about it. Thank you.
Thank you. I do not want to comment, Councillor Ntuli, Councillor Nkosi on the matter, but I hear you. Mwango?
No, Honourable Speaker, it's an issue of procedure. Because we always have this issue after voting. Councillor Bob is correct. If in one organization, one is against and one abstains, how then you block the vote, whether they're abstaining or against? And I think so, Professor Speaker, and I think your support staff must assist you, because you can't see that. We can see it. So it's a concern which Councillor was raising, which is genuine, because it happened. Now, how then you block a vote at one? Who decide?
Okay. Thank you. It's not just I was ignoring Councillor Vu. It's a matter that I have to discuss with my team that assists me in running council, particularly with the voting process, Councillor Vu and Mwango. We will attend to the matter, then council will be informed on the proper way of managing such matters. Let us now invite Councillor Ntuli. You raise your hand.
Sibonge somlomo. Into bengithi ngicela ukuyicela. Kune proposal kababa mayor which we supported. Yokuthi soqala manje singene kwi-budget. Benginesicelo sokuthi la unama-item ambebizwa ama-tariff ayinqwaba ngenasidingo. Ukuthi uma ngabe sesiqeda i-budget sibe ne-item efaka ama-tariff.
Order, Speaker.
The point of order, Councillor Nkwala.
Ngokukhulu umhlonipha uSompisi. Angiboni kukahle ukuthi angathi khona into la kwi-item engenaso isidingo. I think let is serious kangangokuthi sikhuluma ngebudget konsethekwini. And uyi-leader yena kakhulu uSompisi. Ngicela ihoxise nje lento ngoba wehlisa isithunzi sikaKhongolo sinqole emasini.
Councillor Ntuli, let me stop you there. Councillor Ntuli. Let's do this. Lower your hands. Let's do this. Let's invite the mayor to present the budget. Then after that, I will then entertain hands to make whatever proposal. All proposals will be entertained after the budget has been presented, including what Councillor Ntuli is raising. Let me invite the mayor to present the budget. Then we'll entertain hands after that. Your worship.
Speaker. No, ngiyaxolisa Speaker. Mhlawumbe bengicela ukuthi before mayor aqale, I just like to bring to your attention ukuthi umayor uwe wathatha i-platform a few weeks ago and he blamed the people of the Eastern Cape for imesela eThekwini. So as only accuse the mayor of being a tribalist. Uze siyazi ukuthi usoke organization engayona i-tribal ANC.
Order.
Yes. So Speaker,
order. Councillors, I said I'm going to entertain hands after. Let's allow the mayor to present. Then we'll take hands after.
Speaker, can I finish my point? Speaker, you allow me to speak. Let me finish my point.
Councillor, I will order. I will take hands after. You will raise your point after.
Speaker, you allow me to speak. Let me finish my point.
No.
But you
order. Councillor, Councillors, if the speaker on any matter has made a ruling, the ruling of the speaker is final. Let's all respect the rules of council. I already made an indication that I'm not entertaining hands now. I will entertain hands after the budget has been presented. No one will be suppressed. Your worship. Mayor.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Amakosi asendunkulu. Ama-members e-executive committee, ama-councillor wonke aseThekwini ne-administration yethu nomphakathi waseThekwini. Sanibonani. It is an honor for me to table this draft budget, Honorable Speaker, against the background of renewed hope, not only in South Africa but globally, as more than half of the world's population goes to the polls in countries such as United States of America, United Kingdom, Russia, India, Senegal, and Taiwan. For us as a young democracy, this year's elections are crucial as we mark 3 decades of democracy, and this calls for reflection on the journey we have traversed in our efforts to build a better life for all. We must state from the onset that the government of the African National Congress has done a great deal to change the lives of our people for the better in the past 30 years. While we celebrate these achievements, we are acutely aware that a lot more still needs to be done to achieve our historical mission of an equal, just, and prosperous nation. It is an undeniable fact that eThekwini is much better than it was before 1994, as more households and communities have access to water and electricity. I'm talking about statistics, Honorable Speaker. You can compare them. Before 1994, people who had access to water are now outnumbered by what we have done as African National Congress. Access roads have been upgraded from gravel to blacktop, particularly in townships, informal settlements, and rural areas.
Sorry, Your Worship, to disturb you. The team that is helping me with my microphone is making my work difficult. My microphone is not working. If there's a point of order on the floor or hands being raised, I can't speak. Now, that's why the mayor is speaking while I'm trying to stop him. I wanted to hear what the head of Mangofo, because I said I'm going to take hands after.
No, Mr. Speaker, earlier you concurred with Madlala when he said we can't say there's ANC here, but the mayor, is he allowed to say there's ANC when I'm not allowed to say there's ANC here?
Let's allow the speech to finish.
It's a principal issue, Speaker.
No. Let's allow the mayor to finish, then we take debate after.
Yeah, for now, bengakamceli ukuthangisize kwi-speech ngisiphelele mina. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. We have built new and integrated human settlements to eradicate the apartheid spatial development patterns. The good example of that is what we have done to change the lives of our communities in eThekwini. Konopia is part of that. In an effort to promote mass participation in sport and recreational activities, this ANC-led government municipality has built state-of-the-art sport facilities in township and rural communities. With this draft budget, we want to build on the firm foundation that we have laid over the years and expand these services to all residents of eThekwini. Therefore, the draft budget, Honorable Speaker, we are tabling today seeks to accelerate service delivery and ensure that through our rebuilding process, we are able to create a positive investor climate to grow the economy and create jobs. For us to free our people from the shackles of poverty, unemployment, crime, and hunger, we need infrastructure projects to stimulate economic activity that gives people jobs. Therefore, the construction of human settlement, roads, rural bridges, dams, substations, and water treatment plants provide the infrastructure necessary for the growth of our economy and meeting the needs of our people. Before we proceed with the detail, On the draft budget, Honorable Speaker, let me take this opportunity to update the residents of eThekwini about the restoration of basic services following the prolonged illegal industrial action. As of this morning, the collection of refuse has been fully restored and residents are reminded to take out their refuse bags on the morning of their scheduled collection dates. Massive cleanup operation and mobile operations and the clearing of waste collection backlog is ongoing. We are confident that by the end of this week, we'll begin to see improvement both in the CBD and in our residential areas. Our water and electricity teams are working tirelessly to repair faults and restore supply of these services to affected areas. We want to thank the Minister of Culture, Premier and KZN MEC for Culture for facilitating the talks among all parties in order to find the lasting solutions. We also want to express our gratitude to the residents of eThekwini and our businesses for being patient during this period. Again, we want to send our condolences to the family of our employee, Ms. Unene, who was senselessly murdered while carrying out her duties. We hope for a speedy recovery to all those who were injured in the line of duty. Working with the police will ensure that those responsible for these criminal acts face the full mighty of the law. Honorable Speaker, coming back to budget, the 2024-2025 budget comes at a very difficult time with moderate global growth expected from 3.1% in 2024 to 3.2% in 2025, whilst GDP growth in South Africa in 2023 is estimated at 0.6%, with load shedding having a major impact on this. This has resulted in the economy not growing fast enough to meet our developmental needs and challenges. Accordingly, Honorable Speaker, tough economic and fiscal choices had to be made in this budget. It must be appreciated that we have limited resources, and accordingly, we must prioritize based on principles of affordability and sustainability. Therefore, the key focus on the draft budget we are tabling today is on service delivery, economic development, and rehabilitation of our infrastructure. Honorable Speaker, the total proposed budget for 2024-2025 is 67.3 billion rands, with an operating budget of 59.7 billion rands and a capital budget of 7.6 billion rands. The budget is constrained by a proposed ESCOM tariff increase of 12.72% and an Umgeni Utugela a water board average increase of 9.5%. The high fuel price and price increases of other goods and services above inflation also constrains what can be done in the budget, whilst also ensuring that tariff increases are reasonable to our residents. Honorable Speaker, I will now look at the budget as service. On electricity, Honorable Councillors, you agree with me that electricity is the lifeblood of the economy in our city. With this draft budget, we want to continue to supply electricity to our customers, maintain electrical network, and attend to reported electricity faults. We also remain committed to the electrification of rural and informal settlements to make service accessible to all. As part of our efforts to generate revenue, the municipality will continue to connect new prepaid customers. Other initiatives the municipality will be implementing in the next financial year include smart metering projects and provision of free basic electricity to over 336,000 poor households. And we are not apologetic about that. Our people need to be serviced when they are not affording. To be able to implement all these interventions, Honorable Speaker, the municipality has allocated a total budget of 21.5 billion rands, comprising of an operating budget of 20.8 billion rand and a capital budget of 687.8 million. The increase in the operating budget for electricity is mainly due to the ESCOM bulk tariff of 12.72%. In addition, there is a provision of of 1.1 billion rand for repairs and maintenance to rehabilitate the electricity network so that it is stable. This will minimize power outages which adversely affect the city's economy and our residents. The electricity capital budget will be spent on the ongoing extension and reinforcement of the existing networks, Honorable Speaker, and the commissioning of 17 new substations to make eThekwini energy secured. All these interventions resulted in a tariff increase of 14% for electricity for residents and businesses. Coming to water, ladies and gentlemen, honorable councillors, water is life. Therefore, we must ensure that all our citizens have access to this precious gift of nature. Our water network spans 14,500 kilometers with 470 storage facilities, 47 pump stations, and 10 purification works, which services over 980,000 households. To manage this infrastructure, water services has a total budget of 9.8 billion, comprising of an operating budget of 8.4 billion rands and a capital budget of 1.4 billion rands. The operating budget increase is mainly due to the Umgeni Utugela Water Board bulk tariff increases of 9.5%. In addition, there is a provision of 423 million for repairs and maintenance to rehabilitate the water infrastructure to ensure stable water supply and reduce water losses through leaks. The capital budget will be spent on the replacement of water pipes, repair of southern aqueduct, upgrading of the SCADA system to monitor water infrastructure, completion of Adams 6 reservoir and Inwabi to Ngonyameni pipeline. This will help address many of the water challenges we are currently facing in areas such as Umlazi, following Chatsworth, Kwamakutwa, Zwelibumbu, and other areas in Adams. Honorable Speaker, water security is a major challenge throughout the country. In addition, eThekwini water infrastructure has been severely damaged by the recent floods, which has exacerbated the situation. Whilst majority of the people living in eThekwini have access to water, rapid urbanization, aging infrastructure, and vandalism have strained the city's resources. As a result, the demand now supersedes the supply. In short, the demand water is exceeding that supply that we have. The users in the Umgeni River catchment have exceeded the available capacity of the existing water infrastructure, and this needs to be augmented. The following short-term and medium-term interventions are being implemented to address this water supply issue. Firstly, repair of 24 kilometers southern aqueduct at a cost of 1.2 billion, which will help improve water supply in the southern region, including Chatsworth, Oshal Cross, Umlazi, Folweni, Adams, and Gwamakuta. Tsimbini. Upgrading of Tinduzuma pump station at a cost of 35 million rand. This will alleviate water challenges in areas such as Inanda, Lindeland, Tuzuma, Machubeni, Mzinyati, and some parts of Kwamashu. Replacement of pumping mains on major water distribution systems, including Utongati, Waterloo, Grange, and Hazelmere water distribution systems. This also includes the replacement of air valves, the upgrading of the trunk mains in Zwelibumbu and Kwaklimba to increase water capacity in the areas, rolling out of a comprehensive pipeline replacement throughout the city, including a leak detection and repair program, piloting of 2 water reuse projects. Earlier on today, I visited Northern Works project where we've invested 500 million rand to upgrade that wastewater treatment plant, and the work is progressing as envisaged. To provide temporary relief to residents who continue to experience intermittent water supply, the city has procured 55 water tankers, and in the next financial year, we plan to procure this financial year an additional 100 water tankers, which we expect them to be delivered by end of May. In areas where there is sufficient groundwater, the city will continue to drill more boreholes, especially in rural areas where there is scarcity of water. We are convinced, Honorable Speaker, as a city that a longer-term solution in addressing water challenges is the building of Mkomazi Dam, known as Upper Mkomazi Water Project. This project entails the construction of a dam and a raw water tunnel, a water treatment works, and a potable water pipeline to augment the yield of Umgeni Utugela water supply system by 200 million cubic meters per annum to 594 million cubic meters per annum. This is a joint project undertaken with the Department of Water and Sanitation, the TCTA, and Umgeni Tugela Water at an estimated cost of 28 billion, not 23 billion. All these water interventions result in a water tariff increase of 14.9% for residents and business to ensure stable water supply and water security going forward. Honorable Speaker, coming to sanitation. Sanitation is key in restoring dignity and ensuring our communities live in a healthy environment. Our wastewater management network spans over 8,500 kilometers of sewer pipeline, 230 wastewater pump stations, and 27 wastewater treatment works. About 444,000 kiloliters of effluent flows through the treatment works daily. In addition, our sanitation service manages over 91,000 urine diversion toilets, 1,600 communal ablution facilities, and 26,000 ventilated improved pit toilets. To maintain this service, the city has allocated a total budget of 3.1 billion, comprising of an operating budget of 2.3 billion and a capital budget of 832 million rands. The operating budget increase for sanitation is mainly due to the Umgeni Tugela Water Board tariff increase of 9.5%. In addition, Honorable Speaker, there is a provision of 355 million for repairs and maintenance to rehabilitate the wastewater infrastructure to ensure that sewage spillages are reduced and the impact on our beaches and tourism destination is reduced. The capital budget will be spent on the upgrade of wastewater treatment works, upgrade the SCADA system, upgrade the Mahatma Gandhi pump station, which impacts on the harbour and surrounding businesses, and the rollout of the alternative sanitation technologies. This will help address many of the wastewater challenges we are currently facing as a city. In addition to what I've said about Northern Works, we have also allocated 260 million to Mpumalanga Hammersdale wastewater treatment plant to upgrade it and put new technology. We have also allocated 17 million rands to Ohlange pump station to deal with the contamination of our water resources, especially our beaches during the season of tourism. As a result of these interventions, our sanitation tariff increase is proposed to be at 12.9% for residents and our businesses. Cleansing and solid waste. Cleansing and solid waste is the lifeblood of healthy and sustainable environments. The Cleansing and Solid Waste Unit provides a once-a-week service to over 1 million households and businesses, which include the transportation of domestic, commercial, and industrial waste, management of 4 landfill sites, 8 transfer stations, 15 garden refuse sites, 30 depots, 5 fleet workshops, and 716 vehicles, 962 skips, 15 recycling drop-off centers, and 9 recycling buyback centers, over 130 million black refuse bags, 8 million street litter bags, and 7 million orange recycling bags are distributed, and over 1.4 million tons of refuse removes annually, thus ensuring a healthy and sustainable environment for all our citizens. This is funded from an operating budget of 2.2 billion rands, which includes a provision of 166 million for repairs and maintenance, Honorable Speaker, to ensure improved service delivery with no backlogs. If we can be compared, Honorable Speaker, with other cities, looking at the area that we are covering, you'll see that eThekwini is the municipality at work. The capital budget of 368 million will be spent on new fleet, various landfill sites development projects, which include Buffets Dry, Lukilovu, and Shongweni landfill sites. This will help address many of the refuse challenges that we are currently facing. All these waste management interventions, Honourable Speaker, result in a refuse tariff increase of 8% for residents and 9% for our businesses. Honourable Councillors, with regards to engineering, this unit provides engineering service for building and built environment, surveying and land information service to council, business and residents. This includes maintenance of nearly 7,000 kilometers of tarred roads and over 1,007 kilometers of unsurfaced roads, as well as sidewalks. Our road network is being improved and expanded, particularly in rural and township communities. Ingakho ngihlale ngithi somlomo, umgwaqo uma ungakahleleki kahle uba mpofu, kodwa uma usuhlelekile usukwazi ukudlulisa umnotho kahle, kufanele ube mnyama njengemeya. To maintain this level of service, the municipality has allocated a total budget of 3.3 billion, comprising of an operating budget of 2.6 billion and a capital budget of 759 million for engineering services. There is a provision of 684 million for repairs and maintenance to ensure that roads and stormwater drainage are repaired and well maintained. On human settlement, Honourable Speaker and Councillors, Human Settlements Unit is responsible for the delivery of new housing units and the management of hostels and rental stock. The current housing stock is 5,164, including 10 hostels and a total rental stock of about 8,000. To provide quality human settlement services, the municipality has set aside a total budget of 1.44 billion rands, comprising of an operating budget of 631.2 million and capital budget of 815 million rands. The capital budget will be spent on the building of 1,638 new houses in 2024-2025 to fulfill the ideals of the Freedom Charter, that there shall be houses, security and comfort for all. I close quote. Honourable Speaker, Community and Emergency Services is responsible for health, agroecology, parks, recreation and culture, Moses Mabhida Stadium and other stadiums, and five other stadiums, as well as safety and security services. This includes management of 336 soccer fields, 177 community halls, 141 parks, 123 cemeteries, 99 libraries, 16 museums, and 54 swimming pools, 66 cricket pitches, 138 netball and volleyball courts, 8 nurseries, 17 beaches, 98 kilometers of coastline, 40 shark nets, and 40 cyber zones. It also maintained 260,000 hectares of veggies at a cost of 124 million per annum and tree management. Please compare us with other cities on the strength that we are delivering on these services. The Health Department provides healthcare and manages 59 clinics, 41 health posts, and mobile clinics, whilst environmental health promotes public health in the public realm. The Disaster Management and Emergency Control Unit provides crime surveillance through 432 CCTV cameras. The Fire Unit operates and maintains 23 fire stations. The Security Unit manages the external security companies and VIP guards at a cost of 263 million per annum. Metropolis, at a cost of 1.75 billion, has 36 stations and 6 satellite stations across the city to ensure safety and security. To ensure that people of eThekwini have a safe and healthy environment where they can live, work and play, the The municipality has allocated an operating budget of 6.7 billion rands for this service, which has the biggest staff replacement. There is also a provision of 153 million for repairs and maintenance to ensure that infrastructure required is well maintained, including swimming pools. We still need to put more money to this unit. We know we have limited resources, but they still require more so that we can up our standards and quality services. Honorable Speaker, providing integrated, safe and reliable public transport is the priority of the ANC-led government. To this end, the eThekwini Transport Authority is responsible for public transport facilities in the city, which includes 2,618 bus shelters, 69 taxi ranks, and 11 bus stations. To maintain this service, the ETA has operating budget of 1.56 billion rands and a capital budget of 754.9 million rands. Provision is also made for Durban transport and the people mover system. The capital budget will be spent on traffic calming, bridge city terminal, integrated fare management system, and Go Durban integrated rapid public transport networks. We'll be making a very important announcement during the state of the city in relation to Go Durban. Property rates, Honorable Councillors, the proposed property rates increase is 7.9%. These rates contribute to various municipal services, including engineering services, public safety, transport services, community and emergency services, human settlements, and economic development services. On major capital programs, our major capital projects over 2024-2025, MTREF, to improve service delivery, building a conducive environment for economic development and rehabilitation of infrastructure are the following: wastewater treatment works upgrades and expansions, which we have allocated 2.4 billion rands, low-cost housing and infrastructure allocated 2.5 billion rands, eThekwini Transport Authority 2.3 billion rand, replacement of bus fleet 298 million rands, electricity infrastructure 2.1 billion rands, addressing community service backlogs 2.3 billion rands, roads rehabilitation and reconstruction and new access roads 1.7 billion rands, zonal planning 338 million rands, water loss intervention program and replacement of water pipes 3 billion rands. 728 million for catalytic projects, which are critical in bringing the foreign direct investment in the city as well as our domestic investments. On job creation, Honorable Councillors, one of the key priority areas of this government is to create job opportunities for the youth, for young people and those who are above the age of 35 years. Accordingly, this budget will also fund the following job creation projects. The Sihlanzimvelo stream clearing program with over 840 jobs created, the Zibambele program with over 7,300 jobs created, 450 job opportunities at Moses Mabhida Stadium events, 2,600 beneficiaries from the Presidential Employment Stimulus, 264 cooperatives for grass cutting, 167 caretakers employed at ablution facilities, 1,584 plumbers used on a rotational basis, 466 community-based contractors employing 1,398 people. 475 community-based contractors to roll out rural water and sanitation projects. 887 people employed by DSW using EPWP grants. On the nutrition program, which we used to call it soup kitchens. Honorable Speaker, in the next financial year, we are going to expand the nutrition program, which has about 550 beneficiaries from poor households per day per site. Currently, there are 87 functional sites and we'll be expanding this service to 94 sites. This demonstrates the commitment of ANC-led government of ensuring that no resident of eThekwini goes to bed hungry. The operating budget for this service for the next financial year would be 137 million rands. In conclusion, we have certainly done a lot to change the lives of the people of eThekwini, and this budget demonstrates that we remain committed to continue providing quality services while growing the economy and creating sustainable jobs. We want to take this opportunity to thank everyone who was involved in finalizing this draft budget, our budget committee, the executive committee, the city manager and CFO and their administration, and all other stakeholders who fully participated in bringing this budget. It is not an easy task to carry, Honorable Speaker. I hear people when they come here and stand and say, let's raise it to this percent and that percent. You have to calculate the impact of whatever percentage that you put on and that you remove in the budget. You will undoubtedly agree that these are very challenging times, and this was a tough budget to balance. To this end, Honorable Speaker, and the esteemed councillors, I hereby table the draft annual budget for the 2024-2025 medium-term revenue and expenditure framework of eThekwini Municipality for consideration. I thank you.
Thank you, Your Worship. As I made a commitment at the beginning of the meeting that once the budget has been tabled, I will invite Councillor Mthethwa to present the issue that he wanted to present after the budget. Over to you, Nyambosa.
Speaker, it's an amendment that myself and Councillor Mthethwa are proposing.
Okay, can I have the amendment, please?
I have handed it to the Secretariat in the front.
I'll have this form, Mrs. Colonel Spallet. Okay, I will request you, Councillor Ali, to read the amendment so that I don't read correct. Can you please?
I've written it out here. I can read it from here as well, Speaker.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I move as an amendment to item 8 on page 16 of the agenda. Under committee recommends 8.1, we want to change that to read as follows. That for purposes of the statutory public participation process, eThekwini Municipality notes the content of the draft budget for the 2024-2025 and 2026-2027 medium-term revenue and expenditure, so the rest of it is the same. So we're noting it for the public participation process to go through. And then an insertion of 8.2, say Council approves the distribution of the draft budget for purposes of the public participation process, and then naturally that would change the renumbering of 8.2 and 8.3 to 8.3 and 8.4. So basically the amendment is changing it from saying approves in principle and subject to public participation. We are saying we are noting the draft budget until the public participation process has occurred. Thanks, Speaker.
Thank you very much. Okay, let me note this first, Councillor Mthethwa, then Madlala.
No, Chair, just to expand on what Councillor Leng is saying, the reason behind it is to say so that we don't confuse the process that we are undertaking here today, is to say we approve, we note the contents of the draft budget. We don't approve the budget. We note for the purposes of it to go out for public consultation, which is a legislative requirement. That is why we're proposing this amendment, because as far as we understand, this budget is going to come back to council for final approval after the public hearings and consultation, so that we don't confuse these processes. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Councillor Madlala.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. Maybe let me thank the Mayor for presenting the budget, the draft budget. I wanted, Honourable Speaker, to request a legal opinion on what is being proposed, because most of these processes, especially the processes relating to the budget, They are outcomes of extensive legal prescripts. So we don't want to offend in terms of that. So let us as this council get the benefit of a legal opinion. Thank you.
Thank you, Speaker. To respond to the request by Councillor Mandlala, in terms
of the councillors, let's have the legal opinion, please. Thank you. Proceed.
In terms of the Municipal Finance Management Act, Section 16, subsection 2, what is required at this stage is just the tabling, and thereafter the budget goes for public participation. If I may read, in order for the municipality to comply with subsection 1, the mayor of the municipality must table the annual budget at a council meeting at least 90 days before the start of the budget year. For now, it's just the tabling that is needed. The approval is really not essential. So if it's being noted, it won't offend the legislation as it stands currently. The only time the approval will be when the budget comes back. That's when you will be requiring the majority of councillors. So whether it's approved or at the moment, it's not approval of the budget. Thank you.
Thank you. That is the guidance or the opinion you are getting. Councillor Ntuli, your hand is up.
No, Speaker, ngenzela ukuthi ingazitholi ngelilanga ngenza into engajwayelekanga. Eminyakeni eseke kwafika ibudget phambi kwami. Kunento ejwayelekile ke kuthiwa kufanele uapprove ukuthi draft oyiphethe uyayinikezela ukuthi iyoconsult emphakathini then approve ilokhuza late. Manje ngifuna ukuzwa ngoba into eshiwo legal anginayo inkinga nayo, kodwa nginenkinga yokuthi what is normally done was it wrong in before, ngoba manje le new way yokuthi uyanotha but approve ukuthi into oyinothayo ukuthi emphakathini yintsha ngifuna ukuyithola nje lapho ngithi angibuza.
Order, Speaker, order.
Order. Councillor Ntuli. Order, councillors, order. If you listened carefully on the relevant section in the Municipal Financial Act, ET, the requirement in terms of the Act is to table the budget by the mayor. To what he has read, there's no mention of the word approved or approval. It's for tabling. I think in terms of that, council has made that requirement because the budget has been tabled to council by the mayor. It's ready for consultation, then council will approve it after 90 days. That is the interpretation. There was a hand, let me take Mandlala, Pillay. Councillor Hlengwa, then Councillor Mvumi. Let me take those hands.
Thank you, Speaker.
No, it's Mandlala number one.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. Speaker, thank you to our legal eagles for the advice. I think we take the advice as it has been given, but I think the advice falls a bit short of what has been the common practice. What has been the practice, as Councillor Ntuli has noted, has been that one, the budget is tabled as the mayor has tabled it, the draft budget, in line with the legislation. But secondly, as this council, we approve the budget for public consultation and public participation. That approval also allows, because it becomes authority, although it does not speak to the specific items, but it becomes authority, which then allows the administration to prepare the ground for, because one of the issues that we've been complaining about is that our procurement processes take long. So it allows, if it's that authority, that in principle authority, it allows the administration to start preparing the ground. So that
Order, Speaker, order, Speaker.
Point of order. Order.
Speaker.
Which rule?
Speaker, you have asked.
Which rule?
Order.
Mandla has asked for the for legal. Please, he can't go back.
Order.
The Speaker made a decision.
Order. Councillors, order.
Speaker.
Order.
Speaker, you have asked for legal opinion. We have got legal opinion. Now, why is he going back? You have made a ruling on it.
Your point of order is overruled. I have noted hands for councillors to engage on the item. What I've made earlier, listen, councillors, what I've made earlier was to interpret the opinion we received from legal. I have not yet made the ruling on the matter. There are hands, councillors who want still to engage on the report. As you proceed, Councillor Madla, then I will move to Councillor Karuk, Pillay, then Shema, then Mayor. Madla?
Yeah, no, thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. Yeah, the Speaker Mhlambe, it's going to help us, especially us who are Africans, that our names are written in phonetics so that they are pronounced properly, because sometimes when you mispronounce my name, you say something completely different and which is offensive at times. Like that Katela has just called me a woman. I know it's not intentional, but it provoked laughter from the IFP. And yeah, to continue on the same. Yes. To continue on the point I was making, Honourable Speaker, is that one is we are creatures of practice. That it's been a common practice that when the draft budget comes here, it's tabled, which is in line with the legislation, and then we approve the public participation process, which then gives sort of an ownership to the document as it is, to this council, and it becomes an authority as it goes out, which also allows the process that I was talking to, which is sort of a preemptive process that the officials will then engage in to facilitate for a faster implementation of projects once we've approved the budget. But lastly, you know that when we are noting in this council, some of the councillors will not note. So it's better, it's on the safe side to approve, so that those who want to differ are allowed to differ in a manner that makes sense, because if we're noting, then all of us is noting. But some caucuses here will want us to vote on the noting because they will say they are not noting. So it's a safer option to approve, because those who don't want to associate with this draft budget will then vote no and will vote yes and will not be offending on any. It's better safe to approve than to leave it as it is and leave it open to any interpretation.
Councillors, let me lower your hands. Let me remind you, there is an amendment in front of us which we have not yet decided on whether we accept it or not. Hands that are speaking now are speaking on the advice or opinion received for the Speaker to guide the meeting. Those are the hands now I'm checking. We still have to deal with the proposed amendment in front of us. Patrick?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think the legal have expressed it well. The thing is, the anomaly exists when one were to compare what was practiced in the past versus what is proposed in the amendment now. And the thing is, what legal has said, the mayor must table the budget. And he also expressed that noting is fine. Also, he was silent on whether we can approve in principle. So which means that it becomes this council that will decide whether we should note this report or approve in principle. And that's the way forward I see. However, we need to also consider that we have already passed 2 budget-related items. That's the water tariffs and the sewer tariffs. And we need clarity in terms of the way forward on how we will deal with these 2 items when these matters go for public participation. So I strongly believe that this council will have to get a decision as to whether we note or we approve in principle. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Speaker. What I like in the legal advice is that it says there's no harm in noting. It doesn't say we must change and note. So it has been a precedent that we always approve. My feeling now is that some of us are just trying to dodge a responsibility of having to approve or not approve the budget. So as we always have been approving the budget, I think it's prudent that we proceed in that manner so that those who want or are always against the budget will do so openly.
Okay. Councillor Mayor.
Sibonge Speaker, ngibingelele kuma colleagues wonke. I think, Speaker, here the bone of contention is between the culture and the law. So the culture is a social construct. It's something that you decide to practice. But when it's tested against the law supersedes the culture. I understand where Councillor Mandlana is coming from, his fears, but he must not fear anything. We are here to protect him. Let us note, as the law says, let's note, because we don't have to open up ourselves up for litigation unnecessarily. I thank you.
Councillor Mthethwa.
Let me conclude by saying on this item, Chair, that whether you decide to note or approve today, it doesn't do anything in relation to what Councillor Hleng was talking about. The final approval of the budget, if we must inform him, will come after the public participation process. If he thinks that some of us would be shy to make a stand, then he's mistaken. But that's beside the point. As we sit here, Chairperson of the session, there are councillors here who have not even gone through this budget. But they are ready to just say we approve or we don't.
Order. He cannot undermine our intellect.
What about the order?
Yes, he cannot just come and undermine our intellect here by assuming that we did not read.
What are you raising?
He is undermining this council. He must withdraw. We took time to go through this. It's not our principal.
Thank you. Order. Your point of order is sustained. Councillor Mthethwa, we have not consulted all councillors here to confirm how many have read the budget or not. Let's not make statements.
I have consulted those who
Order.
Those who haven't read.
Let's not make those business statements. Continue with your submission.
Okay, sure. Look, I'm saying, Chairperson, we don't have a problem approving the process to take...
Point of order.
Thank you, Speaker. I rise on Rule 16 relating to
a need for all of us as members of this council to observe the decorum of the procedure. Councillor Mtete has been ordered to withdraw the statement which is casting aspersion on other members of council as if they have not read. He has not done so. Can he does so for record purposes so that we proceed as respecting this council? Thank you.
No. There was no such an order. Proceed. Order. Proceed.
No, Chair, the process to comply with the legislation to take the draft out for public consultation, we don't have a problem approving that process. But we have a problem approving the contents of the draft. That is what we are saying. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. I have allowed you an opportunity to express yourself on the interpretation of the section, but after you've made submission, I want to give legal again to further clarify, because they are indicating they want to address us. Legal.
Thank you, Speaker. I just want to deal with one point that was raised by Councillor from DLC on the issue that I only spoke about noting and didn't speak about approving. Either of those two, they don't offend the legislation. As noting does not offend the legislation because the legislations call for noting. I hear the practice over the years. But even if you approve, again, it does not offend the legislation because immediately thereafter, the legislation calls for the city manager to go for public participation. So approval won't be unlawful, but it's not compulsory at the same time. Thank you.
Order. Councillors, order. May I have your attention? All the items that are contained in the agenda, all these tariffs are part of the budget. Now, after the budget has been presented, the debate whether we approve or not, I will guide you on that. But it will mean that we are also dealing with other items that we have not dealt with in terms of their appearance in the agenda, so that we have that full understanding. But in consultation and the guidance from legal, I do make a decision or a ruling that the items will be noted as per the requirement from the legislation. What's going to happen now, so that we are procedural? Legal will guide me. Legal order. May I have your attention? Now, the advice or the guidance have been given to the Speaker to guide Council is that there's no harm whether we note, whether we approve the budget in front of us. Now, the amendment that was proposed, it was a proposal to note and to approve the process of public consultation. That was the amendment. The amendment have not been supported, but the discussion and the advice from legal is in line with the proposed amendment. It means the proposed amendment is in line with our regulations. And the submissions made by councillors, they are all noted I don't see a need to subject this proposed amendment to a voting process because there's no strong rejection on the submission made based on the opinion or guidance we are getting from legal. Councillor Ntuli.
Speaker, angifisi ukuthi izwakale kabi kodwa ngifuna ukurefer kwi-report ephambi kwethu nakwi-procedure yomhlangano when the report is brought before us. I-report ephambi kwethu nawo kwama-rules of order. Ma une-report kunomuntu ofuna amend i-report, you raise an amendment, iya-check i-amendment, ukhulume kuyo. Post to that, sivotele i-amendment before substantive matter. Now, ulegal, angas-advise, kodwa ka-amendile ibhuku esiliphethe thina. Ama-recommendation la, at approve in principle. Bese ngezansi, ethi note the process. So ngenza ukuthi la masoba nento esizoyenza, asilandele kodwa i-procedure yomhlangano yokudila ne-process yethu as councillors manje. Singabalekelani nokuthi ulegal tutheni, anginankinga naloko manje, senginenkinga ukuthi ubhalweni, ngiyabonga.
Okay. Thank you very much, councillors. What is going to happen? Because I wanted to clarify that the proposed amendment, it should be subjected to a voting process so that we deal with it once and for all. But before I do that, I will invite Councillor Lane to motivate and expand further on the proposed amendment before we vote on the matter. If there's anything you want to say, Councillor Lane, unless you are covered.
Sorry. Yes. I just want to check if there is a need then for this motivation, because according to the ruling that you made, informed by legal, you said it is aligned with what we are ruling on in terms of noting. So then what's the reason as to why the councillor must debate, whereas you've already made a ruling based on the legal advice that you received to say you are leaning towards noting, because that's what they are suggesting.
Okay, Councillor Mvubu, I have not yet made a decision on the matter. I was clarifying and explaining the discussion because, listen councillors, what we are trying to do here is to be procedural. That's why I was saying from where I'm sitting, the proposed amendment is supported by the legislation and the explanation by legal. That's how I interpret the amendment and the opinion from legal. But at the same time, proposals of amendment in our rules have to be motivated, is either supported or not. That's where Councillor Ntuli comes from. That's where Councillor Ntuli comes from in terms of our rules. When they are proposed amendment in front of us, it does not confuse the interpretation of the speaker and the proposal and the legal, but procedurally, we have to be procedural. If there's a proposed amendment in front of us, you can't just accept it without subjecting it to a process. That is my point.
Maybe because we have received a legal opinion and you are leaning more towards aligning yourself with that legal opinion, we don't mind if you're going to follow the legal opinion that you've been given for us to withdraw that amendment.
Can you repeat yourself?
You have received a legal opinion. I withdraw what I was going to say. I was guided by you.
Thank you very much, councillors. I know, councillors. Let me explain this. may I have your attention? Let me explain this. The debate or the argument about what has been in practice before and what is being explained by legal here, I don't see any conflict. I don't see any conflict. City manager is here, finance is here, legal is here. What is being advised is contained in the legislation. There's nothing wrong if we do it. Therefore, I rule that the presentation of the budget will be noted by council. Therefore, I'm going to ask councillors whether all the recommendations tabled or presented by the mayor contained in our report are noted.
Approved. Noted.
Noted. Thank you very much, councillors.
Point of order, Speaker.
Yeah, sorry, there's something that the city manager want to consult with legal first. Let's just allow order,
Speaker.
Order. Let me take the mayor first.
No, it's a point of order from me first.
Point of order?
Yes, Speaker. Speaker, I'm finding myself lost a little bit.
Order, councillors, order.
And I seek clarity from you, Speaker. Normally, when there's an amendment, the House gets to decide on the amendment. This time around, the Speaker alone decides on the amendment. Is that the same procedure? Is that procedural, Speaker? So that I'm informed going forward.
Thank you. Your Worship, order.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I want to second Councillor Ntuli when he said the 8.1 of the report says that we need to approve in principle. So if we just say we note, we are not responding to what the report is presenting before us. So, and the legal opinion...
Sorry, Mayor, I'm just getting a report from the Secretary.
Okay.
Speaker, exigency, Speaker. Exigency, Speaker. Point of exigency, Speaker. Exigency.
Before exigency, Councillor Mandala. Councillors, the point raised by Councillor Shengwa is correct. Because we were tabling the proposed amendment. Council have to approve or reject it. I will tell you, Councillor Shengwa, what made the confusion. The confusion has been made there by the discussion that we have allowed to discuss the opinion from legal, but we are correct. Councillor Mandala?
Yes, Honorable Speaker. One is that we wanted to request a 5-minute caucus as the ANC. Thank you.
That means coffee, Speaker.
Okay. I will check the head of the mayor after. Let me give you 5-minute caucus, Councillor Mandala. Thank you. Granted.
Speaker. Can you take
Yeah, councillors, let's start our meeting. Let's start our meeting. Before I take a hand from the ANC to give us a report of their caucus, and I will note hands that I have already noted. Let me explain, councillors, one thing so that there's no confusion, so that we are also procedural. An amendment that was proposed by Councillor Lang, supported by Councillor Mtetwa, Council have not yet made a decision on whether to accept the amendment or not. We have only allowed a debate or a discussion on the opinion. We still have to decide whether we accept the proposed amendment or not. That's number one. Number two, on the explanation or opinion given by legal based on the legislation, council have to decide whether you note or you approve is your decision. Those are two things I wanted to clarify so that we are procedural. Legal give an opinion, council decide on the matter. Two things I want to clarify. ANC, can we get a report on the outcome of your caucus?
ukuze sikwazi ukuthi umhlangano uqhubekele phambili. Ngiyacabanga futhi ukuthi abantu abazoba nenkinga kakhulu ngoba bathi hayi kuyafana noma kuyale noma kubuye. Kusho ukuthi ke ayikho inkinga nje noma singavota ukuze siqhubeke nohlelo njengoba bekade sicelile. Siyabonga.
Thank you very much for that report. I noted hands before we granted the ANC a caucus. I'm not sure whether those hands are still there or we move straight. Thank you very much. Councillors, the amendment has been presented, debated, motivated. Now, what's going to happen? We're going to make a decision on whether we support the amendments or not. I'm sure, Secretariat, you are ready on the screen. Okay. They are requesting that you confirm numbers first. They are requesting that you confirm numbers first before council make a decision on the proposed amendment. Secretariat, please confirm numbers. Please, no movement. Close the door. Everyone must come inside. We are about to vote. Once we have confirmed numbers and closed the door, no one will be allowed to come in. Secretariat, security, please check. No councillors who are outside. Secretariat, confirm the man. We are closing the door. We are voting now. Secretariat, can I have the numbers, please?
Baphathele thina.
Shangani ngathi.
Janet, are you ready? Please close the door. We're now voting. Don't allow anyone to come in, no one to go out. Close the door. Yeah, thank you. We have now confirmed the numbers as they appear on the screen. Councillors, we are now going to invite those who are in support of the proposed amendment from Councillor Lane. Please raise your hands.
Ngicela kulungiswe inamba ze-IFPs sihlalo. Ngicela bekureport-ele ukuthi inamba ze-IFPs ziyashoda. U13 hayi u12.
ayilungiswe le ndaba bangaze basibulale ngenduku.
Please lower your hands, lower your hands. If there is a dispute about numbers, ikinga la ngisala ngedwa uma abasebenzi bami bengifaka phansi kwebhasi. Uma kune dispute about inumber, let's stop and correct that. Who's working there on the IFP bench? Who's there? Who confirmed numbers there? But I'm told you are 12. Cousin Kuala. Can we vote those who are in support of the amendment? Numbers have been confirmed. Raise your hands, please. Lendogashi, ayivumelekile kwi-council. Thank you. Those who are voting against the amendments, raise your hands. Thank you very much, Zanda. Those who abstain, very good. Thank you. Those who are in support of the amendments 5-7, those who are against 114, those who abstain 0. It means the proposal to note or to approve the distribution of draft budget for the purposes of public participation process, those recommendations or amendments are being rejected. Now, councillors, listen carefully. What's going to happen now? We've now dealt with the amendments. We are done now. What's going to happen now? We're going now to deal with the substantive item, the budget that has been tabled in council. What will happen now? If there are hands that want to make any submission on the presentation, I will take those hands. Then we'll vote after that whether we approve or not the draft budget. Let me do that. If there are hands, yes,
ngokuvala umnyango ngoba besivota bengicela uvulwe amakhansela angene ngoba khona avalelekile.
Hayi kanti lokubhala uready say masiqala ukuvota umthetho umnyango uyavula. masiqeda ukuvota.
Sengisho bavule ke manje bengena abanye bakhona baphansi.
Kahle phela umfana, kahle phela umfana. You can't issue instruction to our security. They are trained, they understand their job. Anytime after voting, doors are being opened. Anyone want to debate before we vote? Kazela?
The proposed tariff increases can only be described as outrageous.
Order, councillors. Proceed. Well, you're noted.
Speaker, sorry. Speaker.
Yes, Councillor.
I thought we were taking hands.
Yes, that's why I'm saying I'm noting hands.
Okay, but why is he speaking? Because
I allowed him to speak because he raised the hand while there were no other hands. Other councillors who want to speak will be allowed to speak. Number 1, councillor. Number 2, Kosi. Number 3, Vubu. Number 4, 5, 6. Order.
Will you take note? Your councillors, please behave.
Councillors, let's lower your hands. I will note your hands again because there's disruption. I will start afresh in noting hands. Those who are coming, please take your seat quietly so that there's no disruption. Councillors, please, those who want to speak on the item, please raise your hands so that we are noted. Please raise your hands so that you are all noted. Earlier there was only one hand, now there are many hands. Order. I will start with the councillor that was already on this speaking because I recognize him earlier. You are number 1. Councillor from this side, Amkoshe number 2, Councillor Mvuwa number 3. No. Let's start this Pagamanjaro after. No, manje ngikhuluma Mvuwa phakamise ngaba kwakhe ephuma. Councillor Mvuwa number 4. That there's no other hand there from EFF. Only Councillor Mvuwa. Thank you. Oh, my hand is up. Okay, you'll be after Mvuwa. Councillor Bente, Councillor Mthethwa, Councillor Hlengwa, Councillor Pilei, Councillor Khuzwayo, Councillor Sokhabase, Councillor Mazala, Deputy Mayor and the Mayor. In that order. They start there, then we come this side. Yes, Councillor number 1.
The proposed tariff increases can only be described as outrageous. The residents and business of eThekwini once again have to financially pay the price for the corruption and incompetence plaguing this ANC-led municipality. As such, Action SA will not support the proposed budget and request all those involved in the process to do likewise.
Thank you. Number 2.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker, colleagues. When the Mayor tabled his budget, he spoke about renewing hope. I think people at home, they're asking themselves what hope when we do not have water in the eThekwini. He then also further spoke about celebrating some achievement. I'm not too sure whether people of eThekwini can celebrate achievement without having water and electricity, etc. As long as we are not dealing with the issue of unfunded mandate, we are going to have a problem because we're sitting at 1 billion. Now that unfunded mandate takes a lot of money from us and the province is not doing anything. Well, I think the issue of raising tariffs came at the wrong time. People does not have money as we speak. The economy have not recovered. If we have to be honest with ourselves, we're supposed not to raise any tariffs. We're supposed to keep it as it is. Uma besenazo nje inhliziyo ezikhuni befaya sibacabangela abantu bakithi kungabi nokuthi siwanyusa ama tariffs because njengoba sikhuluma kumanje nje idinga zikubantu. Having said that, we're supposed not to increase this tariff because no tariffs must be above higher than KPX. KPX. These proposed increases are insanely excessive. considering that there is no service delivered at all. With the mean rate of gross inefficiency, etc., respectively, the municipality does not have, deserve to raise the increase of tariffs. When Mayor, you always come here and sing one song that we all know, talking about the issue of dealing with the leaks every year, now and then. If you take the speech of the Mayor, you will see that there is nothing have changed. Even if you talk about the issue of service, project, you're always saying that there is progress that has been made, no project that has been finalized. That one alone tells you that we have a serious problem. I think, colleagues, we're supposed to be honest with ourselves and think about people on the ground who are suffering, who are paying rates, but we do not render services in the correct manner. As IFP, will abstain on the matter. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Speaker. We always derive no pleasure when we are dealing with the issue of tariff hikes, electricity, water, refuse collection. But vis-a-vis this, we also understand that the municipality must generate revenue so that we are able to fix all these things that are collapsing in the city. So what we can say as the EFF is that we are covered by the indigent policy and the threshold extension to a cap of 350,000. So this means more people are going to benefit from this, which is the majority of them are the poor people of this city. Well, of course, it's unfortunate, but it's the historic injustice of the past that those who can afford, unfortunately, will have to subsidize those who can afford. I heard a colleague from FF Plus saying that black people are going to be getting water for free while the rich are going to be paying for this. It's just an unfortunate situation which was not designed by Africans in general. So we just have to hope that when you go for public consultation, some of these tariffs will be reduced, but as said, I think we think it's a balanced budget. Thank you very much.
Councillor Poma.
No, thanks, Speaker. We furthermore would like to make a plea to our technocrats that after this proposal, they must put our disciplines towards our finances. There shall be our proper balances and checks on our revenue versus expenditure, particularly capital expenditure, of which even the AG also raised the concern, which with regards our capital expenditure spend. But we must put more efforts and quickly implement mitigating measures on our debt collection. Our debt collection is one of the pillars that should be assisting this municipality to have sound revenue collection. We must come up with tangible mitigating measures to address the revenue collections on millions that we lose due to water loss and electricity loss. Our borrowings should make sense and be directed towards our infrastructure development, particularly water and electricity and also engineering. When you talk about tariff increase, I think as an EFF, we shouldn't be hard towards the vulnerable voiceless classes, which is the working class, taking into consideration the current socio-economic conditions. Repo rate current is sitting at 8.4%. Electricity increase, ESCOM is going to increase electricity by 12%. Petrol increase and many more factors that affects and felt more.
Your time is up. Your time is up, Councillor Pendleton.
Thank you very much, Chair. Yeah, well, to start out with, wordplay is a very interesting thing, and we saw that now in the debate whether we are approving or whether we are noting, because I'm sure the speech has already been written for the media as approved, and we're going to be seeing quite a bit of grandstanding. And it's also the same, whether a strike is over or not, where the city manager just yesterday admitted that it was indeed not complete, because we would have hoped that the mayor would give a feedback from what the union said yesterday, because the people are not on the street. They are not working. They are in the depots. But be that as it may. So let's just have a quick squiz on this budget that's been presented to us. And one would have to wonder whether we've got the appetite for the implementation of this, or whether we're going to see some reprioritizations within a week or 2, 3, as is the norm. But let's look at it. We base this on a collection rate of 93%, but nowhere do we take cognizance of the fact that we've got a debtors book that are 28 billion in arrears. So we are again putting in tariffs to compensate for that losses of 28 billion. We're also going to see to the affordability of it. Yet we say that there's an affordability challenge for business and consumers, yet we're coming with recommended rates that are way above the inflation rate. We say that there's a reduced income in electricity and water and waste, and a decrease in sales volume. And we tie that up with real-time growth and negative growth in water and electricity income. Yes, well, that makes sense. If there's no water to give the people, you would not get any revenue from it. If there's no electricity supply instated, you would not derive any income from it. So it's a very good self-made problem, and that can be rectified if we just spend a little bit more and fix the broken infrastructure. And we also say there's a minimum growth in rate space. Yes, quite correct so. But that's also of our own making. Because time and time in these budgets, we've said that we're going to increase the rate space and we're going to derive some income from other groupings and other income groups and other areas. But that doesn't happen. And so you've got a certain, the dwindling percentage of those who sustain the budget is a reality. We also say that we've got some budget, the budget is, the reviews go to sales of salary increases that we're going to cut back, overtime, contractor services, security. Well, that's exactly what led to the strike, wasn't it? The moment the people said that we're going to be cutting back, that same day when the document leaked out already, that was a reality. But we're not making any note of possible savings. We as a government are not dictating what we want to pay, but rather accepting the exorbitant prices. And that's having an adverse effect on our reserves. Well, the reserves was another matter that was mentioned there, and we say that we're draining our reserves, yet in this new budget, we're prepared to put almost 2.6 billion rand of our reserves towards making it balance. We're also going to take another 1.5 billion rand loan to make it balance, while we are still busy negotiating the terms of last year's approved 1.5 billion. So another never-ending snowball effect. But let's look a little bit at the grant funding that's needed to sustain this, and taking note of the fact that fiscal seems to be also, what's the word I'm looking for, in state of depletion, because we are seeing a reduction in that. And that's just indicative of what's happening in the country. We are just not having enough money going around because the investment into the city is not what it should be. But in closing off, because I've got my colleague that also wants to say a few words on that, we have to look at programs like the expanded public works program that we in the last year had 60 million rand towards. Our expenditure was 226, we had a deficit there, and that's reduced to 18. So on the same projection, because we're also not cutting back on the people or the numbers there, we are going to have a deficit of 100 million this year, and the EPWP program at 107 million to sustain 2,600 people. That's not showing any increase. One would just have to wonder how we're going to balance it next year and where we're going to have a deficit there. So where's the savings going to be? Is it going to be a detriment?
Point of order.
Point of order.
Yeah, ngiyazi ukuthi ngeke bayi-approve le budget kodwa ngicela ngingakhulunywa iphutha. I-PEP iyona 107, u-EPWP iyona 18. Manje ngizwa kumixwa ama. Thank you.
Thank you for the correction. Proceed, Councillor.
Well, at least I see somebody is listening. So yes, Councillor, truly good, but the deficit's still going to be 200 million. I wonder how you're going to explain that. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Next speaker.
No, Mr. Speaker, Mine really is to, I do wonder if your office has ever appeared before MPEG. Just your office, not the cluster. Because here we are sitting here debating, probably going to take us an hour, saying things that we are going to say when this budget comes back here for final approval. That in my book amounts to wasteful expenditure by your office. You sat here, a strong-armed legal, you were given a legal opinion, but for some reason you decided to be a bit political. Here we are saying things that we're going to be saying coming back here. It is very clear that even this process that we are embarking upon of public participation, it's just a tick box exercise. Otherwise, you would not have been steadfast in making sure that we go against a legal opinion that says our citizens.
The councillor is misleading the House and people at home, and the same token is making the speaker to look bad by saying the speaker went against the legal opinion. The legal opinion was very clear that we can either approve or not.
Thank you. Proceed, Councillor Mthetho.
Ngiyabona ukuthi uhlengo kuthiwe namhlanje
Councillor Mthetho, don't respond to
no, ngikhuluma nawe.
Continue with your speech.
Ngikhuluma nawe. Ngixoxela wena.
Proceed, Nyambosa.
We'speaker, ngiyabona nje ukhasi lohlengwa umsebenzi awunikiwe ukuthi wena uzophendula umthetho. Sizokunika lento efunayo. Iyona nto nje ayizelela namhlanje. Abanalutho wehlengwa. Abesikubunalutho wehlengwa abanalutho khululeka. Ngifuna ukuthi ke speaker kubi nje ukuthi kuyacaca ukuthi sikhohlisa imphakathi lama sithi sizofuna ukunikeza ukuthi benezwi ekuthenini i-structure se-budget simi kanjani. Ngoba what has been said here ukuthi hayi ngonyaka ophelile yayizoba imali engaka kodwa after consultation with umphakathi sayehlisa because uhulumeni lana ayikho leyo nto. It's because of leya tariff eyayikade iproposiwe and the authority NERSA wanted to know you are out of line. So it was not by choice. So let's not fool people. We are not prepared as this, you, the ANC, is not prepared to go out there objectively, listen to what the issues on the
point of order. Can the councillor rephrase? He is not allowed to say the ANC is not prepared because he is speaking on behalf of the ANC now. He must rephrase. I know what he's trying to say, but he cannot.
Proceed.
The ANC government, as said by the mayor earlier, is not prepared to go out there and objectively listen to the views of members of the public. We are going to be going out there making sure that people have got their voice, people have got their say. It cannot be that under the current circumstances, people are very confident to say we are going to be increasing tariffs. What services are people receiving as we speak? Even by our own standard, this is very low. Thank you, Chair.
ANC business. Thank you, Speaker. Kuyayikube njalo ke councillor fan mawuntshontsha uphinde futhi ucindezele abantu mase bethatha into zabo bese kuba buhlungu ngoba usibona ngathi usukhokha on their behalf kanti vele nje basuke bethatha ngokwabo. As African people faced with a very heavy heart, we are going to support this draft budget. Kodwa okusiphatha kabi kakhulu ukubuka ama-tariffs ngendlela anyuka ngayo. Sifisa futhi ukuthi nabanye sisazoba engage mhlawumbe ngoba isazohamba emphakathini sibheke lento yokuthi singanyusela abantu bakithi ama-tariff ngale ndlela enkulu kangaka esikhathini esinzima kanje. Okunye kusikhathaza kakhulu iyo le ndaba lesi siteleka lesi esike sezwa kukhulunywa ngaso ekungekho clear kahle ukuthi siphelile noma sisaqhubeka yini. Siyafisa ke si-African
time speaker kasenasikhathi.
Mr. Speaker, I have 2 minutes, one for most.
Yes,
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. As the DLC, we have expressed early on that we do not support tariff increases. It's unfortunate that this year's budget is almost a replica of last year's budget. It's a cut and paste exercise with a few amendments here and there. Our city is faced with the same challenges, nothing has changed. Water loss is at its maximum, and people are suffering with the water. I'll express it again. People in Tongaat, Verulam, Phoenix, Ntuzuma, Kwamashu, and other suburbs are suffering with water. They do not get water for days and weeks, and yet we are debating whether how we should be increasing the tariffs for such water they should be receiving. Non-revenue water loss is very high, Mr. Speaker. It's about time that the city manager take cognizance and start disciplining officials who are not doing the job in the Metro Water Department in terms of repairing long water leaks, whereby we're losing mega water, kiloliters of water. Tariff increases are a great no. We do not support, the DLC does not support tariff increases. The unfunded mandates in this budget, whereby we are supporting processes and such as health that should be paid by the national and provincial, it's unacceptable. The unfunded mandate is very high. Loan borrowings, a big no-no. Every year we're borrowing almost 1.5 billion rand. And quite frankly, we do not have much to show in terms of the usage of these funds we are borrowing. Outstanding debt owing by the national and provincial departments, Mr. Speaker. We need to be absolutely firm and assertive in dealing with these matters, because whilst we may claim that our ratepayers are not paying their bills, government departments are not paying their bills equally, and something must be done urgently. Our ratepayers are struggling, and our pensioners especially dig very deep into their pension to pay their utilities bills. Unfortunately, we are imposing greater tariffs in this coming year budget. The DLC cannot support this draft budget to go forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Kozwell. Okay, no. Councillor Kozwell, there was Mwengwe before you. Councillor Mwengwe.
Sibonga Somlong, we welcome this draft budget, and we're hoping that as the ANC in this council will give our community out there to input, and again we'll make sure that we take care of the challenges that are facing by our community as we propose the tariffs, and again we'll make sure that monies that will be collected, because tariffs will help us to ensure that we respond to the challenges that is faced by the city, water challenges, electricity, waste collection, and we hope that parties that are here will all support this draft budget. Why? It has to do with improving the lives of our people. And we hope this time around there is no party that will abstain but to vote in favor of our budget. Thank you.
It's very confusing for umuntu osekhaya ukubuka lo mhlangano. On one hand, the linye councility, there are no services. On the other, we are giving people free water and free electricity. So umuntu obuka ekhaya uyayibuza ugesi ukuthi siyabanika noma sibanika amanzi siyawavula noma siyawavala, because it's a whole lot of confusion. Now, having said that, Honourable Speaker, we are very proud of the work that our officials have done in putting together this draft budget, because it is a budget that is seeking to ensure ukuthi abantu abahluphekayo nabaswele abahlala apha eThekwini bayakwazi ukubenefit from ama-services kahulumeni. Siyakwazi ukuthi-ke kuyiqiniso lokade kusho uKhansela uHlengo ukuthi abantu abasifica la siyiphuzela amanzi mahhala, sinomhlaba wethu, sinemfuyo yethu, bafike basihlwitha lokho, babuya bazosidayisela. Namhlanje sebenenkinga mase kufanele sidayise abantu abampofu, uphofu obudalwe yibona. Yingakho-ke thina njengohulumeni okhona njengamanje sinesiqiniseko sokuthi siqhamuka nama-programs okuqinisekisa ukuthi abantu bakithi abaswele noma ngabe baluphi uhlanga nohlobo bekwazi ukuthi bethola ama-services, because asikwazi ukuthi silokhu siflege phezulu lokuthi abantu abahlwempu abangawathola ama-services as if they are subhumans.
responsibility of government of that day to ensure that even the poorest of the city are able to have access to these services. Ngale budget sizokwazi sikwenze lokho Somlomo, siyabonga.
Ngiyabonga Somlomo, ikhulumo esesikhulumile zengikhavile sengoba bona mayibuye ibudget.
Honorable Speaker, I'm covered by the previous speakers. Let me allow the Mayor to respond to a few issues that have been raised. Siyabonga. So we support the budget.
Deputy Mayor with 3 minutes, donated by the ANC.
Siyabonga Somlomo, njenge-National Freedom Party, siyalomukela lolu hlahlomali olusazohamba luye ebantwini. Kodwa kubalulekile ukuthi uma silibheka sibuke indaba ethi we are living under very challenging economic strains. Kubalulekile ukuthi uma ngabe sik-understanda lokho sikhuluma ngokuthi uhlelo esinalo lokusiza abangakwazi ukukhokha ama-services senza kanjani bameya ukuthi sibuye sizolireviewa ngoba kwayilona lwalwenziwe ngesikhathi even umnotho kwawukwenye indawo. Kodwa kubalulekile ukuthi sisho ukuthi uma ngabe sithi le budget iyakubantu sibheke ekutheni kunezinto esiyibhekile eziningi esifisa ukuthi ziqhubeke lapha ka-fire emergency nje kubalulekile ukuthi sizume in khona sibuke ama-projects akhona. Kune-project ekhona laphaya enemali ewu-6.6 million yokwazi ukuthi isize ukulekelela ekutheni implemente i-bylaw that we had in 2022 ekutheni ikwazi ukusebenza. Lapha ka-Metropolis kune-project ye-smart policing esishayela izandla sonke esifisa ukuthi uqhubeke because izosivela imali eningi, izos-attractela ikakhulukazi osomabhizinisi bakwazi ukuqhubeka nokuzo-investa eThekwini. Kubalulekile futhi ukuthi uma ngabe siyibuke even on the security management side, whereas this council we have approved ukuthi kube khona i-project lapho silekelela khona abantu abasha ukuthi bakwazi ukuthi bahambe bayofundiswa amakhono ikakhulukazi on the security side moving forward. Kubalulekile futhi Somlomo ukuthi uma ngabe sikhuluma lokhu sibheke ekutheni as amakhansela our responsibility is to make it a point ukuthi njoba singamakhansela abantu babe involved sesiyohlangana khona emawadini. Siyabonga. Siyayisupport.
Your Worship, Councillor Kawana.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Let me start by dealing with the misleading statement made by Councillor Mteto when he said that we were compelled by electricity to reduce the tariffs. So he could not conduct his own documents because we also reduced rates. So rates were never imposed to us by ESCOM. So it tells you that councillors come and make podcast statements because it's a different case to govern and a different case to stand over there and oppose everything that comes in front of your eyes. So let me also explain the process. This process of formulating a budget, Honorable Speaker, is a very lengthy process. It's a process which requires the city manager and the CFO and their teams to meet with treasurer of National Treasury so that they present in more than 4 sessions. And they are factors that informs the budget. You can't just refer to your budget as a balanced budget without the issues of sustainability, affordability, looking at all the factors that informs your decision when you increase tariffs. So all these have been checked by National Treasury, and National Treasury gives you a go-ahead to go and consult with the public because they've looked at your budget and they've seen that your budget is indeed a balanced budget which really take into cognizance all the factors that informs your budgeting. But it is a contradiction, Honorable Speaker, that councillors from the opposition benches, they sit over there, they say there's a problem with infrastructure, but on the other side, they don't want the city to generate revenue to respond to those challenges. There's no money that will come like Imana, to fix all these infrastructure challenges. So we need to work with the limited resources at our disposal. We need to work with our communities because indeed we are in a renewal process, in a rebuilding process. That rebuilding and renewal becomes painful because you think that we are raising tariffs because we want to impose difficulties to our residents, but at the same time, we need to turn the tide around and be responsive to the challenges so that we can serve our communities better. Njengokhongolose somlomo sifuna ukuthi siyahambisana nesiphakamiso sebudget esikhona ngoba siyakuzwelana nabantu bakithi, ingakho sine-indigent policy. Bonke abantu bakithi abangakwazi ukuthi be-afforde ukukhokhela ama-services siyakwazi ukubafaka ngaphansi kwaloluhla. Okunye futhi esikubhekayo ukuthi asifuna ukufaka ingcindezi enkulu emabhizinisini nasemphakathini wakithi, kodwa ngakolunye uhlangothi kufanele ibudget yethu ikwazi ukuphendula ey'dingweni zomphakathi, iphendule futhi ey'dingweni zosomabhizinisi. Ukwenza-ke lokho udinga ukuthi ube nebudget enjengalesi proposal. Akulona-ke iqiniso lokuthi sikweleta kakhulu, our borrowings are too high. In fact, if you look at the threshold, we are still fine as a city. If you compare us with other big metros in the Republic of South Africa, they will tell you that they are borrowing 26 billion, they are borrowing so much, but we are only borrowing 1.5 billion. So it makes sense because we do not want to put more burden to our residents so that we save these big debts. But at the same time, with whatever that we are borrowing, we are in a better position to try and respond to the issues that our communities are faced with. Akulona futhi iqiniso lokuma kulomhlangano. Sithi nje abantu abaningi ubosigade statement esisho njalo somlomo esishiwa amakhansela sidukisa umphakathi. Abantu abaningi abanamanzi kule dolobha. Cha ubosiquantifyela ukuthi abantu abaningi usho abanye bangaki. Because we can tell you about the households. We know ukuthi this is a certain percentage abantu abangenayo amanzi abanenkinga, siyazazi lezo inkinga futhi siyangenela kuzona. Kodwa to stand here and say abantu abanamanzi is a generic statement which does not add any value to our debate, but it's just a frustration from the opposition benches because they are preparing to gun against our own programs as a movement, as ANC. Ngifuna ukuhlala phansi ngelokuthi sifisa umphakathi wakithi ubambisane nathi, osomabhizinisi babambisane nathi, yingakho sifaka imali. Lezi imali esiyifaka zizovula inkundla evundile ukuthi ama-investments afike kuleli dolobha, kudaleka amathuba omsebenzi. Mawudala amathuba omsebenzi, ingalesikhathi abantu abaningi bezokwazi uku-afford ukukhokhela ama-services. Yingakho-ke inqalasizinda siyibeke oqhulwini ley'nhlelo zethu. Bengingafisi-ke somlomo ukuthi ngize ngisiqede sonke isikhathi ngoba sisazobuya lelo daba luze lapha, kodwa thina njengomasipala oholwa yi-ANC sibambisene nabozakwethu sizoqhubeka si-approve le budget ngoba sifuna ukukhombisa abantu bakithi ukuthi siyayinakekela idingo, ikakhulukazi abantu bakithi abahluphekayo, abashiwa uhulumeni obandlululo lwabanye bomalume nomkhulu kwabanye abalanga phakathi endlini namhlanje abasenzisa abakulezi inhlupheko esikuzona ngaphezulu kweminyaka ewu-350. Namhlanje bazoclaim bayakwazi ukubusa besicindezela iminyaka emingaka. Sithi intando yeningi ayenzeke abantu bakithi bazoba kanye nathi besisekele kulolu hambo lokuthi siyoconsulta ngebudget yabantu. Siyabonga.
Colleagues, recommendations are on page 16, item 8.1. Are the recommendations agreed?
Not.
Let me have the screen, please. Order. Let me have the screen. Close the door. No movement. We are voting now. No one should go out. No one to come in. There must be order. We are now voting. Numbers have not changed. Secretary, can you confirm? Are we fine with numbers? Thank you. Thank you. Those who are in support of the recommendation, please raise your hands. Thank you. Those who are against the recommendations, those who are voting against the recommendations, raise your hands.
So Speaker, KZN is not on the list. KZN.
Speaker, you say KZN is not on the list he voted for.
Oh, some cousin.
Lento yokubala inamba wrong ingeza ugwala ngiphinde ngevote of no confidence futhi. Manje nakhona yabona ukuthi la vote of no confidence futhi izela ngaphambili ayina. Uyifuna kabi Mike ugwala. Uyifuna.
Asesino legal.
No legal. Are you done? Right. Now, those who are voting against, please raise your hands again. Those who are voting against. Thank you. Those who abstain, please raise your hands.
Someone is not raising a hand. Tetwa, take this chance.
Order. Thank you. Those who are in support of the recommendation, the number is 117. Those who voted against, the number is 3. Those who abstained, number is 60. Therefore, the recommendation has been approved by the majority. They will be carried through. Thank you, councillors. There are 2 items in the agenda that need separate approval before we close. Item number 6 on page 9. Let's go to page 9. Speaker, page 9, item 6, Speaker. Yes, sir. Yes.
On the recommendation, there was 8.2.
There was 8.2?
Yes.
For noting. Yeah, thank you, Councillor. Thank you, Councillor. When the 8.1, page 16 was for approval. Item 8.2 was for noting. Councillors, is item 8.2 noted?
Noted.
Thank you. Let's go back to page 9, item 6. City Manager.
Item number 6, supplementary report to the urgent amendments to the eThekwini Municipality Supply Chain Management Policy of 2023 as a result of the ruling by the KwaZulu-Natal Local Division, Durban High Court Committee recommends.
Councillors, are the recommendation agreed?
Great.
Thank you. Manager.
Speaker, the DA abstains.
DA abstain. Can you record that? Can you record that? Let's move now to page 12, last item.
Page 12, item number 7, Honorable Speaker. eThekwini Municipality Draft Integrated Development Plan. Committee recommends.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. Councillors, are the recommendation agreed?
Noted.
For noting, are noted?
Noted.
Thank you very much. The meeting is closed.